Gallant and defiant is how former Deputy President Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka has described the late Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. Our correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease has this reaction from the UN in New York.
In the East Lounge of the UN Secretariat here in New York, in conversation with South Africa's former Deputy President and the current Executive Director of UN Women, Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka. She joins us to talk about the passing of Mama Winnie Mandela. Your thoughts? I mean, I think it was a surprise to many people. What was your reaction to the sad news?
Well, profound sadness, because I think I'm one of the many people who didn't see this coming. So condolences to the family and to all of us who have to contain our grief. She will be solely remembered as a gallant fighter against apartheid, who fought for women, fought for her community, and fought for the oppressed people, period.
I'm glad you mentioned community. Community was very important to her. She never moved from her Orlando home in Soweto. She believed that being with the people, staying around the people was critical to political thought in South Africa.
That is very much like her, because I think she believed that she was a rock and it was important to be there for people so that they have something to lean on. When you picture the phrase, "You strike a woman, you strike a rock," that epitomizes Winnie Mandela. This is who she was. She also fought a system that was brutal, and the fact that she was defiant at every turn gave many of us the courage also to fight back in our own small way, because we had this larger-than-life personality who was leading from the front.
You talk about this type of militancy that she was also known for. She was, of course, ANC Women's League president from 1993. I think she stayed in that position for a decade. At a time when you were in government, you were in the Mandela administration and then subsequently the Mbeki administration. What was that militancy like from a governmental perspective, and did it hurt her standing both in South Africa and internationally?
You know, apartheid was not a friendly system to fight against. You had to be tough and sometimes to be militant in order to fight decisively. I don't think that we can charge David for picking up a stone to throw at Goliath. She fought the best way she knew how.
She was, of course, most famously the one that accompanied Nelson Mandela soon out of prison when he came to the United States, to New York City. She really did stand by Nelson Mandela throughout trials and tribulations, his incarceration, right up until things went differently. They went their different ways. What do you make of that relationship?
Well, it was a special relationship between two people. But what I would say was that Winnie was an icon in her own right. She was next to another icon, but in her own right, she was outstanding. For decades, when we couldn't relate to the leaders, she was the go-to person that helped to glue many of the different factions and groupings within the country. And that is why she earned the name Mother of the Nation.
Final question for you. A personal story. I mean, you were in the ANC when she was in the ANC. You were in government together, in parliament together. Anything you'd like to share with us?
You know, the stories I remember about Winnie that are personal, I think I'd keep them personal. Something to chuckle about and think about her warmly.
I appreciate your time. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, South Africa's former Deputy President and the current Executive Director of UN Women, in conversation about the late Winnie Madikizela-Mandela.